Are you getting recalled back to the Army after you've retired? Well, I can't guarantee that, but we're going to find out because we're going to read this Army publication that got released recently with everything that's going on. So let's go ahead and get into it. So it's unclassified. The subject is utilization of the Army Retiree Recall Program. See, this message has been transmitted by JSP on behalf of all that other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Executive Order 13223 ordering the Ready Reserve of the Armed Forces to active duty and delegating certain authorities to the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Transportation. Let's see. Management of regular and reserve retired military members. Management and recall to active duty of retired soldiers of the Army in support of mobilization and peacetime operations. And then Army Directive 2020, Tax 16, determination and reporting of missing, absent, unknown, absent without leave, and duty status, whereabouts, unknown soldiers. Purpose: to improve soldier management, optimize retirement planning, and retain talent for required authorized regular Army vacancies by providing instruction on where and how to find retiree recall positions and how to apply for positions. Situation: a review of command's requests for fill of authorized personnel vacancies in conjunction with current Army manning guidance prompted review of how the Army can fill key and critical position vacancies. The retiree recall program can be an effective tool to fill personnel shortages of authorized regular Army vacancies that are considered key and essential. So what this means is that right now they have a bunch of billets that are vacant that they need to be filled, and they just don't have the people to fill it. So what they're going to do is they're like, hey, we're going to fill those by recalling people that are recently retired back to active service, so that way they can fill those key billets that we deem pivotal for the Army's success. All right, so let's keep going here. It says applicability and eligibility. Applicability: all retirement eligible regular Army soldiers, all Army National Guard of the United States and United States Army Reserve soldiers with at least 18 years active federal service and who will attain 20 years or more of active federal service for a regular retirement. Retirees on the retired list, non-regular gray area, retirees on the retired reserve list who will have less than 18 years active federal service and are not currently receiving retired pay. Non-regular retirees who are receiving retired pay regardless of number of years of active federal service. Non-regular gray area retirees who will become sanctuary eligible exceed 18 years active federal service during retiree recall must be either collecting a retirement or be eligible to otherwise collect a retirement by the end of the retiree recall order. Eligibility: retired personnel of all grades are eligible for retiree recall to active duty. There is no age limitation, although personnel older than 70 are not normally recalled. Yeah, I would hope not. Soldiers who are retirement eligible and have obtained a retirement order are eligible. Retirement eligible soldiers must go through the actual retirement process and initiate a DD Form 2656 data for payment of retired personnel so that Defense Finance and Accounting Service Cleveland Center can build the retired account. Examples of soldiers eligible for the program include, but are not limited to. That's this page. We'll go on to the next one. So it looks like there's going to be a very select group of people. It sounds almost like if you've passed 18 years, you're safe. You don't have to worry about getting retired. But if you tried to retire under 17 years or under 18 years, you might be potentially recalled, or at least in a sweet spot where the Army could possibly try to recall you. But I might be wrong about that. Well, let's keep going. Maybe we'll figure out a little bit more. Okay, retiring officers who are unable to obtain a mandatory retirement date extension. Let's see. Active Guard Reserve soldiers who are selected for release from active duty refrad through a refrad board and are retirement eligible. Refrad boards are quantitative boards. Limitations exist for qualitative boards. Oh my God. Okay. Soldiers retired for disability. Category 3 includes retirees for disability or any retiree over the age of 60, as age or disability may not be the sole basis for excluding a retired service member. Retirees on the retired list or in the retired reserve. Ineligibility. Regular Army officers who are recommended for selective early retirement by a board convened under Section 611 Bravo, Title 10, United States Code 10 USC 611 Bravo are ineligible for retiree recall pursuant to 10 USC 688. This ineligibility also extends to an officer who is notified that he or she is being processed or considered by the board and subsequently requested retirement prior to the board convening date and was retired based on the request. Implementation. Requisitioning for fill by retiree recall is accomplished by two methods. A by name request. A command may choose to request a current retiree or a retirement eligible soldier for consideration. In either case, the by name request is voluntary for the individual under consideration. Okay. A by name requirement request. By requirement requests may be advertised through the Common Access Card enabled Army Mobilization Common Operating Picture System via the Tour of Duty portal and the non-CAC enabled site Carrera, able to view positions anywhere via a DS login for currently serving retirement eligible soldiers. In addition, Army Retirement Services will post opportunities available for current retirees through its media channels. Positions advertised in Tour of Duty or Carrera will not be processed through either site. Instead, instructions will be provided to contact the command that posted the position for consideration. Oh my God. Sounds like a lot of it sounds like your classic Byzantine bureaucracy to me. All right, let's keep moving on. This is like, oh my God. All right, retiree recall positions posted in Tour of Duty and Carrera. Oh my God. That's so, they make these so complicated. I'm just like, I don't even know. I don't know. This makes my brain melt. The force requester identifies a critical vacancy. Army current manning guidance plays a part in determining criticality. However, a change in mission or other demand may drive a request. After identifying the critical vacancy, force requesters may issue a by requirement request or submit a by name request if there is a specific identified candidate. In either case, the force requester will evaluate potential candidates and upon final determination, submit only one candidate per critical vacancy. Once the force requester identifies the potential retiree recall, that individual must complete the retiree recall packet and submit the packet directly to Human Resources Command, HRC. HRC conducts the initial screening of the recall request, builds the packet, and forwards it to the Director, Military Personnel Management. At that time, the packet will be staffed for a legal review and submitted through the Deputy Chief of Staff, G1, for Assistant Secretary of the Army, Manpower and Reserves Affairs. Approval. This final part of the process takes 45 to 60 days to complete. Retired soldiers voluntarily ordered to add in support of peacetime operations will normally receive or remain on active duty from 1 to 2 years. Retired aviation officers are generally recalled for a minimum of 2 years and a maximum of 3 years. A recalled retiree's report location for in-processing will be detailed on active duty orders. Failure to report to the location specified will negatively impact the tour. When retired soldiers are identified as absent, the command will follow the procedures for absent, unknown soldiers, pursuant to reference 1 Foxtrot for notification procedures. In addition to these procedures, the order will be resent to the most recent mailing address. Those who fail to comply with the second notification will be reported as deserters. Wow. Well, that's pretty significant. Better make sure they have the correct address on system. Application for retiree recalls. Retiree recall applicants will be provided all required information to the requesting will provide all required information to the requesting command. The requesting command will submit all retiree recall packets to this address. Commercial phone at HRC for retiree recalls is 502-613-4911. Okay, here's all the required documents. Looks like okay. Command Justification Memorandum, DA Form 160, Application for Active Duty, DA Form 5500, Body Fat Content Worksheet, Male, or DA Form 5501, Body Fat Content Worksheet, Female, DA Form 7349, Initial Medical Review, Annual Medical Certificate, or Current Periodic Health Assessment, PHA, for consecutive tours, security clearance level and date, retirement order or DD Form 214, certificate of uniform service, force management system website printout identifying the vacant position. Retiree recalls must meet the standards of medical fitness set forth in AR 40 TAC 501. Retiree recalls must maintain personal fitness and stay within Army weight / body fat standards during period of active duty. Benefits and entitlements are the same as any other soldier currently on active duty. Continental United States and outside the continental United States tours follows the rules as outlined in the Joint Travel Regulations. Good luck getting some of these retirees back into shape if they've been just, chain smoking doobies and drinking beers because they got out and they're not getting drug tested anymore. And they're just like eating steak and, not working out as much. Like, you might have a tough time with some of these folks, dude. We'll see. All right, let's keep going. If you have a Department of Veterans Affairs disability rating and are receiving compensation through the VA, the disability payments will cease while on retiree recall orders. You may only receive one form of compensation while on active duty. Usually that will mean active duty pay and allowances. Your retirement pay will be suspended. You must notify the VA your active service and make a pay election, suspend your disability payments. Failure to do so will result in collection actions for overpayment. Oh my God. Okay. You must contact the VA upon completion of active duty to reinstate your disability benefits. Soldiers and Sailors Civil Relief Act applies to all retired soldiers ordered to active duty. Protection under Uniformed Services Reemployment Rights Act applies to all retired soldiers ordered to active duty. Recalled personnel do not receive additional entitlements to educational benefits unless specifically provided for by congressional action. Recalled personnel ordered to active duty are automatically enrolled in service members' group life insurance unless declined. Survivor benefit plan law stipulates a soldier typically may not change previous SBP election. However, cost of coverage is suspended until soldiers released from active duty. Once active duty period is completed, retiree or retired pay will be recalculated based on higher grade to which appointed while on active duty if applicable, disability incurred or aggravated, and then length of service on active duty, which will have changed if you got recalled. And they give you a point of contact. Oh, here's a real nice, looks like a PowerPoint slide thing coming up here. The Retiree Recall Primer. Wow. Good slideshow. I bet this is on Teams somewhere. I'm sure that somebody did. I'm sure whoever put this together worked very hard on it. Let's take a look. What is retiree recall? A recalled retiree is a retired soldier who is ordered back to active duty from the retired reserves or the retired list under Title 10, unit or USC 688/688 Alpha, bunch of numbers. Retiree recall is not an extension of your MRD. I don't know what that is. I don't know if you work in the S1, you probably know what that is. Tell everyone. Who is eligible, or who can approve a retiree recall? The Assistant Secretary of the Army of Manpower and Reserve Affairs is the authorized approver to recall retired soldiers. Who is eligible for retiree recall? Key for all of you out there. Personnel of all grades are eligible for retiree recall to active duty. There is no age limitation, although personnel older than 70 not normally recalled. So if you're a grandpa or if you got out, if you served in Vietnam, you're not going to get recalled. You should be okay. Recalled retiree soldiers must be aligned to a valid AC vacancy with an exact grade and skill level match. 1 up, 2 down does not apply. The retiree population will be utilized as a last resort to fill AC requirements. I'm currently drawing retirement and disability pay. Can I continue to receive those? You may only receive one form of compensation while on active duty. Usually that will mean active duty pay and allowances. Your retirement pay will be suspended. You must notify the Veterans Administration for your active service and make a pay election, i.e. suspend your disability payments. Failure to do so will result in collection actions for overpayment, which means they'll take money out of your paycheck for getting overpaid. All right. How long is a recall? Okay, so if you get recalled to active duty during peacetime operations, a normal active duty recall is going to be from 1 to 2 years, unless you're a retired aviation officer, which is generally for a minimum of 2 years and a maximum of 3 years. Can I be promoted? No. Retirees are not eligible for promotion. Retired soldiers will be ordered to active duty in their current grade on the retired list unless otherwise directed by HQDA. Members of retired reserve must be ordered to active duty in their reserve grade. Can I be released early? Yes, retirees may be released. Yes, retirees may be released for poor performance, lack of operational requirements, personal hardship, or other reason deemed appropriate. Okay, so if you have poor performance, you're gonna get released. Can my security clearance be reinstated? Everyone is required to pass a national agency check with local agency checks and credit check to be able to attain a secret clearance. Generally, those with less than 2 years into retirement are easier to process. You must, of course, be eligible to hold the level of clearance that the job requires. Okay, I'm still on active duty. What do I need? What do I need to start? Soldiers serving on active duty who are immediately recalled must go through the actual retirement process and initiate Duty 2656 to allow DFAS to build a retired account. HRC will require either your retirement order or your DD 214. So you can get recalled back to active duty before you even get to retire, but you're still forced to do the whole retirement process. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds about right. Okay. How do I find a position eligible for recall? Currently, the only mechanism is for commanders, ACOMs, Army Service Component Commands, direct reporting units, and Army Component Commanders to request retiree support by one of two means: through a requirement-based request or by name request. There is no database or system to post and or search for retiree recall positions. What are the minimum requirements? You must meet the medical fitness standards, what states a current within the past 12 months PHA, periodic health assessment, separation health assessment, or retirement medical examination is required. A civilian medical assessment may be substituted, or you may be sent to a mobilization force generation installation who will validate your medical readiness before assignment. Wow. Everything in this is very wordy and mouthfully. It's like trying to put a bunch of peanut butter in your mouth and try to talk to everybody. All right. You must maintain personal fitness and stay within Army weight and body fat standards during your period of active duty. But how do they get back there if they got out and they got really overweight and stopped working out? That's going to be a tough one. What do I need to submit? HRC will provide you with a checklist of required documents. Here's a whole bunch of stuff you need. Directorate, where do I report? Your report location for in-processing will be located on your orders. Failure to report to the location specified will negatively impact your tour and may result in immediate revocation of the active duty order. What are my entitlements? Your pay and entitlements are the same as any other soldier currently on active duty. CONUS and OCONUS tours follow the rules as outlined in the Joint Travel Regulation. What else? Soldiers and Sailors Relief Act applies to all the blah, 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 lots of stuff. Survivor Benefit Plan, already talked about all that. All right, look, this is a, oh my God, that's, yeah. Well, and if you got any questions, here's the last slide. You can contact that people at that thing you can't read because it's too bright and blue and it's on a dark background. Yeah. God, that's a mouthful. Oh my God. All right. Well, hopefully that clears it up a little bit. That's a lot. That's a lot. But Yeah, it sounds like they're probably going to try to pick from people who are still active duty and recall them first before they start recalling people that already got out of the Army completely. People that are like close to retirement or about to drop their Appendix J, or I don't know if the Army calls it the Appendix J or what, but yeah. There's going to be some very upset folks out there who are about to retire, and then they're going to find out that they got called back to active duty and they're no longer retiring.